Good evening, K-Man, and welcome to another edition of the Joey Ebanks radio show right here on Vibe 98.9 FM. We have an exciting show today. So I just wanted to recap with a few things so that we can all be on the same page. And, before I do that, I have to tell you all that, this journey has not been easy. This has been extremely hard sometimes. There certainly hasn't been a shortage of anxiety and fears and even tears on my behalf and my family's behalf. I've been told repeatedly by friends and colleagues that they worry about my safety. They worry about something happening to me. I have to do things differently now, like buy bottled water from different gas stations consistently. I have people coming to my meetings who tell me they worry about me and my safety, and it's repetitive. And when you hear something so often, you begin to have to take notice. And let's face it, I'm taking on a lot of really powerful people, and they have this system of corruption in this country that they've gotten used to. It's no longer illegal to them. It's a norm. This is how we conduct business in the Cayman Islands. And I'm saying to them, no, you don't. No, you won't. Because I told them clearly at the beginning of this, way back on March the 1st, when I was threatened with this suspension by Emil Scott and jail time, that, it would be really much better, safer for everyone if he just shot me in the head, because you don't want to go down this route with me. And I'm going to tell you, folks, on March the 2nd, after I finally, for the last time, and even threatened to call the police, refused to accept $500,000 from the dark group to fix a bid, the 36 megawatt bid. I got arrested. I was suspended that evening. You heard the call from Pat who served it. She clarified that it was Saturday, that it was 5-something in the evening on that March the 2nd. And then 4 days later arrested, denied bail, bailed on the 7th. We had police officers even refusing to participate further in this injustice. My police investigation file, after me and my attorney repeatedly asked for it, was handed over to my political opponent, Ezra Miller, to read on the Cayman Rooster talk show, and to win the Ledger to put on Cayman News Service, online newspaper. 1 day before my attorney and I saw it. 1 day. We know that I have filed allegations against the Attorney General as well. Sorry, the Auditor General. That's been clear, but no investigation has been discussed. The Commissioner of Police has handed that over to the Corruption Crime Unit, which he chairs, and which the Auditor General is also a member. We know that I've also posted all of this on my Facebook page. You've seen the threatening lawsuits from Duncan Taylor, from Dan Scott. You've seen the threatening lawsuits to the media by Maples representing Dan Scott, to where I, as a candidate in this country, cannot even be interviewed. They're afraid. Reporters are saying to me they're afraid of their work permit process. And we're going to talk a little bit about that work permit process today, too. So we have this high level of corruption and anti-democratic movement going in this country that has to stop. And I'm not going to stop till I break this. Now, it's not going to end. Not only is it not going to end, but once elected, there's going to be an independent investigation. Taylor, you can try and prevent it all you want now, but the elections are less than 41 days away. And eventually, the people of this country will speak to you and Dan Scott and to David Beans and everybody else that we're going to roll out the corruption on here. They're going to speak to that come election day. And when we get elected, we're going to call for that independent investigation into all of this. And every single person will go to court and face charges on all corruption that is uncovered. And it's there. It's there because it's beginning to roll in. It's rolling in even without us asking for it. So we know the 36 megawatt bid. There is no independent investigation going on. They want to use a local accounting firm. Now, really, to use a local accounting firm, you may as well just ask me to plead guilty to the 36 megawatt bid and everything that the DART and DECO group did, because there is no one independent in this country that dart does not touch. So you can't conduct it there. We know that the senior police officer, now, this is the really great part that we got to get to today. I understand that Gilbert McLean read an email. He was a little bit reluctant to read it this morning on the radio. Kind of skirted around it, but had to read it anyway on his radio show. But I spent the day trying to find out more. And I was flagged down on the street by a police officer who filled me in. Now, folks, you will recall there was an inspector who was demoted but reinstated. And his name is Richard Harford. Inspector Richard Harford. Now, I understand he's dropped a file on the governor's desk that identifies corruption and accusation of corruption against the commissioner of police and his deputy. Now, it is my understanding that the commissioner's deputy was his old boss back in the UK, and he brought him along with him. And in addition to bringing him, his deputy brought his brother-in-law as well. Now, there's more going on with this little group, because there's also an incident of a racial assault on a Jamaican police officer by the brother-in-law or the deputy commissioner, and that is also under review. And they're trying to pull the file, judicial review filing. Folks, everything I'm telling you right here, go to the Caymanian Compass of March the 11th, 2013, story by Brent Fuller. The title of the story is Cops Demotion Will Cost Police Service. And right down below the opening of that is the story about this Constable Cardiff Robinson sought access to a prosecutor's case file and ruling from July, where the Director of Public Prosecutions chose not to pursue a criminal charge of assault by a senior police officer against Mr. Robinson, and gave her reasons for doing so. Now, that's all in this report. On the Compass, online, you can go read it for yourself. I was given information and directed to where to find the rest of it. So, where are we with the corruption? Here's the other thing that I discovered this weekend. Now, we have a chairman of an immigration board that is under investigation by the Corruption Crime Unit for what boils down to selling work permits. Really? Approving work permits that the board themselves denied. So there is accusations made. I understand from some of the board members who spoke to me in private, and there's a lot of board members on this board, that there are members who are refusing now to go back to board meetings because while he's under investigation by the Corruption Crime Unit, he just remains as the chairman of this board. Now, everybody else gets suspended, gets arrested, but not this gentleman. Well, I wonder which partner in a local accounting firm this chairman is the uncle of. You need to ask yourself that. I wonder which one he's the uncle of, and precisely who and what would these work permits approved for. I understand one was a major hotel chain, one is an Italian restaurant, and one is a retail bank. Now, I understand the retail bank one is the one he did for his nephew, on request of his nephew. So we'll have to check that out and see if the Corruption Crime Unit actually comes forward with that. The Italian restaurant one, I guess he did that one for some Italian food. And I understand the one for the major hotel chain, well, it was a little thing to do with membership of the golf course. So, Caymanian people, let me explain something to you. Let me lay this down for you. Really peaceful and gentle here. Let me calm down, because this really angers me, and let you understand that we have an organization of elite corrupt individuals in this country. And I say elite corrupt because we also have some wealthy people who are sick and tired of this too. And they're coming to me and they're saying, hey, you know what, Joey? You keep saying wealthy, but it's not all of us, because we're sick and tired of hearing this stuff too. I got a call today from one particular partner in a law firm who said he is shocked at what's coming out, because nothing I'm saying is not evidenced. It's out there in the domain. We have, as the chairman of the Legal and Judicial Commission, a managing partner of an accounting firm. Accounting firms in this country have a policy whereby they will not sit on government boards. I'm not sure if Ernst & Young doesn't have it, but the others have told me they have it, and they have it for a reason. There's too much conflict. We have the managing partner, Dan Scott, sitting on the Legal and Judicial Commission as the chairman, while being the managing partner of Ernst & Young Cayman, and having been sued and settled out of court with Louis Rowe on a substantial settlement. The initial claim was somewhere in the region of 20 to 21 million. That too is in the compass. You can read up on that. That's where I got it from. Now, here's the thing, folks. His brother calls me and threatens me, tells me about my suspension and threatens me. I get suspended the next day, so he knows well in advance. But I don't get suspended until I refuse $500,000. And then I get suspended, and that's not enough. No, that's not enough. Let's arrest him too. Taylor, I told you, you picked the wrong guy. Now I understand this inspector has dropped this corruption case and allegation on your desk against your commissioner and your deputy commissioner. You need to answer this to the public. You need to answer this to the public, and you need to let the public know precisely what's going on. You need to call in an independent investigative team to investigate all of these accusations and set this country back on its path. Set it back on its path. You need to have that independent investigative team investigate the Dart Deco bid deal. You need to have that allegation I made against the Auditor General and Louis Bouchot as relates to the ERA 2011 audit investigated by this independent team. You need to deal with Ezra Miller and these attempts in this email to Ritz-Carlton and his partners about the work permits. You need to deal with these things. These things have to be dealt with, because just last week, once again, there are threats and threatening violence in Northside in this campaign where someone else was threatened. I have reported that to the police as well, and this is going to be investigated. And I understand and I hope that it goes all the way through the entire committee of Mr. Miller, and I hope there's someone willing to say whether or not he has instructed them to act in the way they're acting, because this is getting out of hand. Let me tell you all something, folks. We cannot at no point in time introduce any form of violence in this country over politics. Okay? We cannot. Once you open that door, we cannot get it closed again. We must not go down that road. I spent significant time on Saturday talking down this person who had been threatened. And I'm telling you, I'll do it again, and I'll do it again. I'd rather not run than be a part of that. That's not what Joe is about. I'm an advocate against the kind of corruption that we have going on, that is existing in particular in these boards, that is existing in particular within the RCIP at the very top. We have good police officers in this RCIP. Police officers who just want to do their job. Police officers who want to see crime diminish, not increased. But we have got to weed out the corrupt, and we've got to move them out of our country. And we've got to punish them too. Now, when we get work permits that are approved corruptly, wrong, you know what that does? That's some unemployed Caymanian who is denied a job. When you get a board denying a CEO of a bank a work permit, there's a reason why. They see a Caymanian somewhere there who now is eligible to move up, or they see someone else. When you promote up, other Caymanians and people below are also promoted up. This is the cost of corruption and how it increases poverty in this country. When you have unemployed Caymanians denied jobs because there's a work permit holder who, to the best of our knowledge now, based on what's pouring out in evidence here, is being approved without the full board's approval, that's corruption that causes poverty. Now, there's another aspect to this that I want a independent investigation on. And I can demand all this because I'm a citizen in this country. And I'm a man, a Caymanian man. So anyone out there who thinks that, oh, well, you seem to want a lot. Yes, I do. I vote here. I live here. I work here. And I've been here my entire life. So I am entitled to this. I'm entitled to requesting an independent investigation into corruption in my country and bringing it to an end. So if that offends you, tough. I don't really care. I don't care anymore because this has gotten out of hand. We cannot have the level of arrests and the kind of corruption that's going on here done. So there needs to be an independent investigation into the number of work permits that have been denied by boards and approved by the administration. That's the employees of the immigration department. And on whose instructions? Because, look, based on what I've been told, there are senior civil servants who are instructing the administration to approve certain work permits and not send them back to the board. We need that independently investigated as well. And we need to know who's doing it, how many are done, and why. Now, the law is clear that that is allowed. The administration can approve work permits. But if a board has denied one, why are you usurping the authority and the decision of the board for someone else? Why not let it go to court? Let's take it to the court and let the judge overrule the board. Not an administrator, not a senior civil servant. So these are areas, when you do this, when we allow this in our country, our unemployed numbers will increase. More importantly, what we're doing is taking the nationalistic rights of the Caymanian citizen and transferring it to foreigners. And when you do that, you've lost control of your country. As a Caymanian, you're no longer in charge. You're a visitor in this country now because you're denied work, because a work permit holder has to have it. And I'm not against in a foreigner. Let's not bring that in, because I don't like that argument. What I'm saying is there's laws, there's rules, follow the rules. If the board has denied it, then you need to take it to court and let the judge overrule the board. Now, we just dealt with Commissioner of Police, his deputy, a little bit of Taylorism and a little bit of Dan Scottism, and we talked about the board. Folks, at some point I'm gonna have to name the chairman of this board name the board because I'm tired of gossip. And the board, let me tell you, the board is the business staffing plan board. Go online, look at the board members, look at the chairman, call the board members and ask them and tell them to prove me a liar. I'm not gonna beat around the bush and duck and dodge and worry about who gets exposed. If you did corruption, you should be exposed. The chairman is Daniel Scott, who was previously head of the Cayman General Insurance Company. So go on the line, take a look at it, because before we go to this break and before we go to this little speech I recorded today, I want you all to know something, that there is another major issue that we have in this country. I understand that there is a candidate from the District of West Bay by the name of Klein Glidden who still has U.S. citizenship. I understand his passport has expired, but he has not relinquished citizenship. Here's the thing. If this is true, and this message, for all the listeners, this has nothing to do with you. This is now between me and Taylor, me and Duncan Taylor. Duncan Taylor, let me tell you something. If this is true, if this person has a U.S. citizenship, if he is a citizen of a foreign country, and you have allowed him into our cabinet at the highest level, when you refuse to follow the Constitution and dissolve Parliament and call early elections, sir, you need to answer the people on that. And you're going to have to answer the Foreign Commonwealth Office on that, because you have exposed us to a foreigner in our cabinet. And everybody else who's part of it needs to be reprimanded for it too, needs to be punished for it too. So you need, sir, and I understand the West Bay candidates are all running and ducking and don't want to expose us and make the necessary recommendation or accusation to the elections office for it to be discussed. Well, now you're going to have to come up with an excuse, because everybody who's listening is going to talk about it, and you guys will either make the complaint, find out whether it's true or not. If it's true, then the person has to be disqualified. If it's not true, you get to say, Joe, you're full of it. So I'm putting it out there. Now, folks, again, let me reiterate again. We cannot, under any circumstances, introduce any form of violence in our political arena. To do so is to our detriment. You want to protest, you want to do something different, put on a black t-shirt, wear a black dress, wear a black suit, dress in black. Make that be your silent protest against corruption. But do not open the door of violence. When you do that, it's all over. I get on this show and I put it on the line every day. I don't mind. Is every day good? No, it's not. Some days are damn tough. But I'm here because every time I feel like chucking it in, for some reason someone either emails me or texts me or calls me and say, hey, Joe, you know what? I'm praying for you and I'm praying for your family. And that's enough for me to get that boost and keep on fighting. And I'm going to fight, and I'm going to fight, and I'm going to fight, and I'm going to fight to the end until all corruption has been removed from our country and there's a level playing field for all businesses. And I said, earlier that I had this little speech I wanted to record. It's from a 1940 movie. The title of the movie is The Great Dictator. And I'm going to ask my producer, and after the commercial, she's signaling to me that after the commercial, she's going to play that. So we're going to take our first break. And when we come back, you'll hear the speech. I do ask that you listen because I got a couple other recordings for you today. And the phone lines are going to be open shortly. I am on until 6, not 7. And it's 946-9898. So off to commercial.
Nothing is off the table. It's the Joey Ebanks Show on 5FM.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I don't expect ever to go through what I'm going through and not pick up people who dislike me or disagree with me. I also don't expect that everyone will. There's going to be people who are going to say thank you. There are going to be people who will say I support you. But understand this, folks. I told you my story last week, and I explained to you that I was born poor, I've grown up poor, and I am poor. And I have no issue with that. I'm not ashamed of that. And people like me have been treated like this by people like the elite corrupt all my life. It's not just me. It's everybody out there who's poor, who's from single families. We're all treated the same way. You know it. I know it. So we know that, and we go now to. I want to talk a little bit about the North Side and the fact that I'm running for the office of the MLA for the District of North Side. And people ask, why did you decide to run in this election? Take a look at what Ezra has done in 4 years. He's done absolutely nothing. Nothing. In fact, he has denied the people of North Side opportunities. When it came to the budget homes, what did he say? Oh, no, we don't want another Coelho Square up here. I mean, the people of Coelho Square, you're going to speak to like that? I mean, come on. These are North Side people. They had an opportunity for some low-income housing. All you had to do is take a look at who's qualified and build that amount. And that's what I intend to do. I intend to bring that to Northside. If the government doesn't have funds, that's fine with me. If I can get support for the government land and get private investors and make sure that the people are getting a good deal, that's what I'm going to do. And I'll tell you all something. I've said this before and I'll say this again. The Botanic Park is funded by the government. There is no way that the Northside people who are unemployed should not be employed there with all. Imagine having an American gentleman in their watering plants. You're telling me that we can't hire a Northside man or a Northside woman to go and water plants? Take a look at the new school. How many Northsiders are working there as security guards, as teachers' aides, as even cleaning the school itself? This all has to change. And I can assure the people of Northside, once they elect me, I am going to see to it that all this has changed. And I don't mean I'm going to see to it in a year's time or so. I'm going to see to it immediately. So when I have my first meeting on May the 7th, I want you all to come out, listen to my plan. I've sent it out to some of my committee members, and they're walking around with it now, and they're showing it to people that you can see. And I have no issue with signing a recall agreement with you folks. I don't. If I do not perform, you should fire me. But clearly, Ezra has not performed, so you should fire him. So I have a number of things that we want to do. And we have some callers on the line. I'm going to go straight to the phone lines now. Caller, you on there? Caller didn't stay. Do we have another? All right, so, folks, let me just say the phone lines are now open, 946-9898. Give me a call. Let's chat. Let's be respectful to each other. I don't believe in cutting people off, even if you're disagreeing with me. That's okay. I don't have the answers to everything. I don't. And I don't ever want to, quite frankly. I want to be able to learn from people, too. But we have a number of things that I'm hoping to be able to roll out in Northside. And once we're able to do that, I want to make sure that in the first year, I can reduce unemployment by at least 60%. We've got to get unemployment down. We've got to get Northside people back to work. Getting Northside people back to work prevents the number of disconnected homes in Northside who don't have. So we need to get that done. We need to get low-income housing in Northside. We have to. Okay? We have to qualify people. We have to build what's needed. And we need to continue to do that as people qualify for it. So we have another call on the line? Oh, no, we don't. Okay. There's other things like after-school program. The Northside people, Northside parents leave work at 5. There's traffic still. They get in late. From 3 to 6 or 7, whenever that time is that they get home, we need to make sure that these kids are in a structured program that allows us to take care of them, get their homework done. When the parents come, then we can turn them over. They should be fed. They should have their homework done. And that parent should be able to help put them to bed and ensure that they have a good day. You know, things are hard on single parents. I know because I grew up in a single parent home. We have to retool some of our skill, some of our labor. We have to make sure we have programs where they can go into and get retooled, and mechanics and carpentry and other programs. And we have those programs available that we're going to roll up. We have a call on the line. I'm going to go straight to the phone lines. Hello, caller, you're on there?
Yeah, hello?
Hi, good evening. Thank you for your call.
First of all, I just want to tell you, I love that rap song.
Okay, thank you.
That's very original. I'm glad to see that Caymanians are actually excelling in that.
The one by the young man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. Little Sinker is great.
Very appropriate.
Yes.
What I want to ask you was the case there with you said this $500,000 that they tried to get you to take.
Yes.
Just explain to us why you didn't take it.
Because you have to remember
it's a good amount of money, you know.
Yeah, it is. But let me tell you why. I mean, you have to understand that in the last election, I was publicly beaten so badly. And it didn't end after I lost the election. It continued for months and months. And finally, when I thought I was going to get a day in court so I could refute all of the allegations made, it was said in the Public Accounts Committee, of which Ezra was the chairman, that there were no charges. And that in itself prevented me from taking. If you think about it from left to right, to where you become extreme, I became, as the ERA director, an extremist on getting everything I dotted and T crossed, you know. But here's the factual reason why. If I took that, they were going to come back and they were going to say, we need a rate increase. And they were going to keep asking for more and more and more. I am a free man. I'd rather be poor and free than rich and a slave. I am never ever going to let anyone own me. God gave me this little time. This is all mine. I'm not selling this. I don't care. And I could do with a new truck, you know. I really could do with a new truck. But a couple, yeah, I could do some money too, man. But I am not prepared to go down that road. I'm not prepared to have anyone look Joe in the eye and say, hey, don't forget it. We own you. Nobody's going to do that to me. Nobody.
Okay. All right. One other quick question.
Sure.
with this new bid and everything, how exactly does electricity become cheaper with this new 36 kilowatt or whatever it is?
Okay. So
how does they get cheaper? I mean, surely they must be reselling this to CUC.
Correct. So what they do is the bid process itself forces the price down because everybody's going to come in at a low price to try win. Correct.
Right, but CUC will still charge us the
same
price.
They can't.
They're buying it.
Right. So no, they can't. So when we introduce it, if a second company wins the bid, they then sell to CUC for the bid that we approve. That's the amount. They can't increase it.
Okay.
And then CUC only charges the administrative cost, which we already know and have agreed with CUC. So that when that goes online, it's immediately a reduced amount. But there is a second latent effect that occurs after they're online, is that they get to operate independent of CUC. So let's suppose that wanted to build a solar plant. You don't have to go to CUC anymore and ask their permission. You can go to the second group and you can say, hey guys, would you buy solar from me if I built a plant? And they're more than likely going to say, sure. What kind of deal can you give us? Now we've opened it up. And now we're really targeting the cost and driving that fuel cost out and bringing the cost down.
Right, but with this new, I guess, generation bid, I mean, will that only be purchased from DART if CUC needs additional power?
No. We're replacing some they were replacing some generators that had reached their life, as well as the new load coming on, like the Shadow Hospital.
Okay, so that should impact everybody.
Everybody, yes, yeah, it would impact everyone. Okay. So CUC can't use them whenever they need it. It has to go on, and they have to be given the same amount of right to servicing the customers. You follow? Mm-hmm. Okay. So there is just, think of it as just two generating plants operating side by side for 100% of the load. That's really what it was. Okay. And then what should happen now is that it should go back out to tender. And you know what would be nice? What would be nice is if a couple of Caymanians got together and bid on this too. Because, you know, we got a lot of people running around here talking about how great they are and how much they did for the country, but very few other than Don Seymour, I don't know, other than Don Seymour and Biggie Rankin that owns this station, are really investing in Caymanian infrastructure. Why aren't wealthy Caymanians pooling their resources, investing and taking CUC on in this?
My answer would be barriers to competition in whatever way and form it is.
Sorry, say that again for me.
My answer would be barriers to competition in whatever way and form that is.
Yeah, well, there's no more barriers to competition because the law that was written for electricity allows when you do the bid, when you issue that RFP for people to come in, all they have to do is get qualified and bid on it. Remember, if anything, the 36 megawatt bid makes it viable for new startups. Anything lower, it's just tough to make a profit. But 36 megawatts, you can make a profit, a good profit too. So what needs to be done? Fair thing to do, put this back up to tender. Let Caymanians as well, now that we've drawn so much attention to it, let them group up. Even the C4C members who have all this money and all this cash that they have, make them group up, make them bid on this RFP, and start to own some of this infrastructure. That's what they should be doing. You good with that, caller?
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much for your call as well. Folks, one of the things, and you would have heard, Ezra Miller, you may have heard the news as well, with what claims to have been the charges that were brought to me. I have a little clip because once this whole thing started, I started recording everybody that I spoke to ensure that I could figure out where these attacks were coming from and how I was being set up. So I have a little recording, and this is of a board member who signs on the ERA account. And this is him being recorded telling me about his interview with the RCIP without him knowing I was recording him. I'm going to share this with you. I'm going to ask my producer just to play this for you. So please listen, folks. This is an ERA board member telling me the day after his interview with the police just what occurred. So listen up.
I really don't know. Let me explain something to you. I said the people on the ERA board are well-to-do, knowledgeable, and appointed by government. So I look like a babysitter. Dara, did you get an iPad? Oh, Mr. Young, this or that? I said, these are big people. I'm the lowest man on the fucking totem pole. Right? And who am I to take that upon myself? I said, there is a document every 3 months that's presented to the board with expenses. Now, it hasn't been a problem. All of a sudden now it's a problem. And why did I do this? I said, because I've always been nothing. And they said, well, you know, that's not really what you're supposed to do. I said, agree. I said, it's no problem. I shouldn't try to I have confidence in the people of the ERA and the method in which we do business. I'm not a babysitter. I said, a lot of the times I don't have time. Jason runs checks to me, Louis runs checks to me, and I said, look, I signed these checks out tonight. Every last one of them. You got a blank piece of paper? And they said, yeah.
Okay, folks, so that's a ERA board member being recorded by me after he had his interview, and he made it clear he signed every check. All of these checks I signed. Now, folks, if he was lying to me and he told the police something different, I can't tell you. But you heard I have him recorded. And folks, just for the record, that's a little piece of 22 recordings that I have. Okay? So we have another caller. Let's go straight to the phone line. Oh, I'm sorry, callers. I'm going to shut up and let you guys come through. So we're open now. The phone lines are open. It's 946-9898. So I do invite you to call. Let's have a chat. Let's talk about other things that you might want to chat about. We want to make it quick too, so other callers can get in. So I'm going to be quiet, let you guys say your piece, and then we can take as many calls as possible. But one of the little programs, small businesses I want to be able to start in the District of Northside is deep sea and reef fishing, and that's inexpensive to start up. Being able to identify a few people to do that, take some passengers out, and be able to do that. We have a call on the line. We're going to go straight to the phone line. Hi, good evening, caller. You're on there.
Yeah, Joey.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for your call.
Good evening. Yeah. I'd like to ask you a question.
Sure.
You running down Scott and a bunch of them, I found them to be good people all the days of my life, the Caymanians, and I mean, far back as I can remember, they've been good to you. So I don't know if you got cortical psychosis or what, or bad lapse of memory, but I don't think you should run them people down.
So you don't think that anyone who does wrong should be highlighted, but it's okay to do it. But it's okay to do it to me.
No, what kind of wrong?
Well, one, the gentleman sits as the chairman of the Judicial Committee. He has settled out a case. One of them did call me and clearly said I would be suspended if the last thing they saw. Well, how much more do I need to produce?
Well, if he said that, he must have got somebody higher than him that told him.
But that's precisely the problem, sir. You see, this was a cabinet decision. How did they get a cabinet decision before me? This is the problem. How do
you know that?
Sorry?
How do you know that went that way? First of all, he came to you or what?
Well, because it can only be by cabinet. My position, according to the ERA law, requires that I be hired and fired by cabinet, not by my board. So once that decision is made there, it has then to come to me. Now, in any other organization, private or public, what occurs is that the employee is called in, evidence, the accusation is made, and the employee is given an opportunity to defend themselves. And if they can't, then they take it to the next step. Now, that is precisely what transpired here. Like you said, we've been friends for a long time. I don't mind saying that. But let me tell you something else, right? Past friendship is one thing. You can't just end somebody's life. You can't just disrupt their whole life for nothing.
Yeah, well then, if he's on the board, right, there had to be somebody else that made the decision.
No, he's not on that board, sir. He's not on that board, sir. He's on a different board.
So you're assuming that sounds like an assumption to me. And like the old people say, when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. So
I'm not making any assumption. I don't make any assumption.
You got facts.
I got facts. I received a call. I was told on Friday evening I would be suspended last thing they saw. I got suspended on the Saturday evening. That's the way it happened, with a letter signed by the government.
The decision was made, and somebody was told, and somebody else. So I don't see why you should just jump on one. You should find out the real source came from.
No, friend.
Anyway.
No, friend. They need to tell people where they got it from. Whether they got it from the governor or a cabinet member. Well, they need to make that known, not me. I am not to defend him.
I'm not defending nobody, and I'm just saying because I've known the Scott brothers all my life, and they've been good people from I was a little boy and came on back.
Well, I do understand that. I think I do understand that. I'm saying what occurred to me in the last 40 days or so. Okay?
Yeah, well,
that's what I'm talking about.
Well, you see, you shouldn't make 40 days ruin a whole friendship because it sounds like you really got cortical psychosis. You remember what happened 20 minutes ago, 40 days ago. We don't remember what happened the last 20 years. That's a bad way to be. Anyway, I'm not going to waste my time or your time.
All right, thank you for your call anyway.
Yeah.
And just to make something perfectly clear, folks, I can understand the sympathy that some may have, but you can't tell me what to do and what to say and how to defend myself. And I will not, under any condition. I don't. If people choose to dislike me because I choose to defend myself publicly, so be it. But I'm going to defend myself publicly when I'm being tried publicly. We have another call on the line. Let's go straight to the phone line. Hello, caller, you there?
Hello.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for your call.
Good evening. This is for the next call. the next caller. I didn't like how he carry on the radio. Some of them just getting paid to place their vote beside people's name. They need to give people a chance.
Yes.
They don't know what other people is capable of. They're just sticking with the old timers that pay them off every election.
Yes. Yeah, and they have their, they have their friends.
That way they backing people, corruptive people, because they're getting paid or they're getting some kind of thing from the elected members.
Yeah, and I mean, we have to have a fairness here. And I understand that things and people I name is going to offend people. I understand it's going to affect some family members. You have to understand you're not going to do to Joey Ebanks what you did the last election. I am not going away. I don't care. Listen, the one thing that they need to understand is this. Here's what they underestimated. They underestimated my willingness to fight this time. And I'm going to fight. I don't care if it's Duncan Taylor. I don't care if it's Dan Scott, Emil Scott, Jude Scott, David Beans, Ezra Arden, Kurt Tibbs. I don't really care. Mickey Bush. I am going to fight and fight to the end. And once I'm elected, I am going to call for the independent investigation into corruption. And every bit of corruption found, I'm going to insist be taken to court and charges be laid. That's just the way this is going to be played out. I did not start this. I had my little job. I was quite happy. I got...
Okay.
Right?
Well, you're doing a good job, and I hope you keep it up, and I hope the people of Northside elect you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, caller. Thank you for your call. Do we have another? No, we're good. We're free. We're getting close to the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen, but the phone lines are still open. It's 946-9898. We have another call on the line. Let's go straight to the phone lines. Hi, caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, I would like to make a comment about what the lady just said to you. Nobody's paying me nothing. I haven't seen Jude since I was over 11, 12 years old. So I don't know where she's getting her information from. And he's not an old timer or nothing.
Okay.
He's an old timer to me. Yeah. But I haven't seen him now in donkeys. I haven't even gone to one of these political meetings since he started out here. Okay. I just heard the accusation, but nobody's paying me.
And I'm happy you call back to clarify that, sir, because that's the other thing. I don't want to make. I'm not going to make an accusations about other than those who attack me with the evidence that I have.
Yeah, but what this lady saying, I have to be defending old timers because we shouldn't pay it. No, I have a job. I get paid for that.
Okay.
I do construction. I've been doing that now for 42 years.
Okay.
Nobody's paying me.
And how that going there? You're getting a lot of work?
No, I'm doing that around here.
Okay.
If you screw that up, and I can say that loud and clear. Okay.
Well, I hope you get some work soon, sir. Thank you for calling back, too. All right, bye. So, we're here. I want to see some of these little small businesses roll out Northside. And being able, here's one of the reasons why I'm gravitating so strongly towards the small businesses. We have a lot of our young people, young men in particular, who have criminal convictions, have a record, and can't get a job. Now, businesses are afraid to, and they have some reason, but we need to create opportunities for them through little small businesses that they can do, earn a living, and have a good life too. Get a piece of the Caymanian pie. We have another call on the line. Going straight to the phone lines. Hello, caller, you're on there?
Yes, sir. Just to clarify something.
Yes,
Thank God for Mikiwa, because it's through Mikiwa why Cayman is developed the way it has developed. But people so blinded by their old time thinking, they want to sit back 30 years ago.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank the Lord for Mikiwa, and thank the Lord for people like Joey Ebanks that talk out. And that's what is wrong with Cayman people. They make people come in here and put muzzle on them.
That's right.
Anyway, you have a nice evening and continue the great work.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for your call. So, as I was saying before, we have young people. We have to create these opportunities. And I'm talking about little businesses, folks. Little things like bicycle rentals, fishing that they can do very well, jet ski rentals, greenhouse farming. These are cheap, low capital investments that can help young people get a life going. We have another call on the line. Hello, caller, you're on there?
Hi, Joey. I just want to make a quick comment.
Okay, thank you for your call.
I'm a bit bothered by the atmosphere your show is creating. I understand it's free speech. I understand it's an open forum, but we cannot encourage slander. We cannot encourage ignorance in this election. The idea is to inform and educate people so they can make an educated decision to better Cayman. Not to encourage them to point fingers and throw remarks and to praise people who have pretty much dragged our community down. It bothers me that they can call in and make the remarks they make, and you don't set them straight. I appreciate everything you're doing, by all means. If there's corruption among Cayman and you know something, by all means, let it out. But then I don't think this forum is useful. All this is doing is encouraging segregation. All this is doing is breeding ignorance. I have not heard one educated person call in and make a tangible comment. I mean, if someone can call and say, thank the Lord for McKeever because he's the reason we're so developed, that is so far from the truth. He's the reason that we are facing some of the troubles we're facing now. Then you have another caller that called in just to bash another caller for giving his opinion. I honestly don't think you should be out here slandering other parties. And then when people call in saying it's negative thinking, no, it's the ignorance. And I don't think you're seeing what this is doing. It's the ignorance that's... You're encouraging ignorance, basically.
Okay. So don't hang up.
Let's volatile. And I don't think you are taking the proper course. No, I don't even think I want to have a conversation with you because I can't. It's not educated. It doesn't make sense. It's just downright despicable what you and these people are doing.
Okay.
So, I mean, by all means, if you are aware of corruption, let it out. But it's the way you do things. Cayman is a small community. We can't afford to have this type of segregation. We can't afford to have this type of ignorance on public. On air, we have tourist division. Like, come on, people.
Can I ask a question?
Let's be educated and yes, by all means.
So, when Ezra sat on the radio show with my investigation before me and my attorney got it and did this, where was the call saying, why are you doing this?
I did not say that was right. But then what you're doing, where's your evidence? Where's your educated response? Where are your educated remarks? What are you doing? You're calling Ezra a dimwit on air. You're having people calling, praising other people. You are bashing a family. These people have kids. These people have careers.
So do I.
I appreciate that, but you put yourself in a position. You have 29 charges right now that you're facing.
That's right.
You should be a bit more humble.
Yeah,
you are bashing people.
Okay, so
not done.
Let me ask you this then.
Explain this to me, Mr. Joey. You have 29 charges.
Yes.
How did they come about? 29, not one, not two, not three, and not coincidence. It's 29 charges. You telling me this is all people that sat down around the table and said, we gonna take Joey down. We're going to make up and we're going to fabricate stories. 29 charges, Joey.
It's hard to believe, isn't it? It's hard to believe, isn't it?
Well, let's be fair. I'm not saying it's hard to believe. What I'm saying is where there's smoke, there is fire. I am not saying it's all true, but there's something behind all of this.
Okay, let me ask you this
behind your 29 charges, behind McKeever's 22, 25, how much he got?
11, I thought it was.
Whatever it is, but if you feel that you're being wronged and there are other people out there in power that are corrupt, expose them by all means. Do not encourage slander. Do not encourage ignorance.
Okay, can we converse about this so we can share the time?
I don't want to converse. I want you, all the people that you are accusing, why don't you bring them on air and give them a chance?
I've invited them. I've invited every single one.
It's the way you do it. It's the way you do it.
I've invited every single one to come on air, sit here with me, and debate this. Every single one. I've invited Governor Taylor. I've invited the Commissioner of Police. I've invited Ezra. I've invited Arden. I've invited Emile. I've invited Dan Scott. I've invited every single one.
Well, I guess
now here's the thing, man. Here's the thing.
Going an election
no.
You're
because
not educating people. You're not.
Because let me explain something. Because that caller doesn't want to converse, but wants to be heard, and I'm not going to allow that. Because in the last election, this same thing happened to me. I was called a thief. I was scandaled. I waited for my day in court. My children became ill with the way they were treated publicly. I went through hell. And here we are next election. Same thing is happening. Now here's what the caller doesn't want to talk about. One, I get a call on a Friday evening and I'm told what's going to happen to me. I go to discussions about the DECO bid on the Saturday. And when I say for the last time, I'm not going to take your bribe, I'm not going to fix this bid, 30 minutes later, I get served a suspension. She said, where there's smoke, there's fire. Damn right. There it is. There's smoke, there's fire there. What happened between my final no, who got called, why was I served on a Saturday at 5? We had the person who called, who served me, call the radio station, and confirm that. It was Saturday, it was after 5 that I served you, Joey. She made that clear. So, I'm supposed to sit here, everyone else gets to take a shot at Joey, beat the heck out of me, and I'm not supposed to respond because these people are all of our society, upper society. Well, I told them to shoot me in the head. They chose not to. Take what comes now. If it bothers you, tough. Too bad. My children will not be ashamed and painful, and I have to run back and forth to Florida for medical aid for my children this time around. This time around, I'm going to fight fire with fire. Every time Taylor, Dan Scott, Emil Scott, or Ezard, or anybody else takes a shot at me, I am going to fire back twice. Okay? That bothers you all? Don't vote for me. I don't care. I have reached a point where I will not sit quietly by on the side of the road and let you all dictate to me how much freedom I am entitled to. Me and the poor people in this country that you call ignorant, we're going to take a stand. We're not going to sit back while the rest of you go to these tables and eat and feed off of crumbs. We're coming for a fair share of this country's economic disbursement. There will be equality. We're going to get rid of all the corruption in this country, and we're going to see to it that Cayman is a better position. And whatever it takes to do that outside of violence, we're going to do. And we're going to say, and we're going to call for independent investigations. And you can call me a thief, you can call me whatever you like. Nothing you say to me or about me has not already been said 10 times. I am still a free man. I have never been convicted of anything. You should be calling Ezra and saying to him, how dare you call this man a criminal and refuse to debate him? The man has not even gone to court. But you don't want to talk about that? Well, Joey going to talk about it. And I will not shut up. I will never, ever, ever shut up. And every one of you that I find something going on, I am going to expose. I am going to record more of you. I got 22 recordings. I am going to play them. And I'm going to play them over and over and over again. You don't like it? I don't care. You know why I don't like? I don't like seeing poor people go hungry. I don't like seeing women with children with no food to eat. And I'm sick and tired of you people saying that they're because you're lazy. Not laziness. It's because you're approving work permits illegally and preventing them from getting a job. That's why they're going hungry. Now, we got to go to end. Let me just close by saying to you all, I am so very happy you joined the Joey Ebanks Show. Please feel free to call in the time. Accuse me all you like. But know this. The day of reckoning for the elite corrupt is here. And I am not going to shut up. And I understand that the next attempt is going to be to shut this show down. Go ahead. I'll go on the web. I'll get on a boat with a portable system and I'll go 12 miles out. I will not be silenced. I'll go on YouTube. I'll stick to Facebook. I'll make my own videos. I'll go door to door with videos and drop them off. You will not silence Joey Ebanks this time. You picked the fight with the wrong Cayman man. Have a good evening, folks. See you tomorrow.